Hello everyone. As an individual who is constantly navigating the intricacies of the world, I've came to observe a really prevalent behavior that seems to characterize human interactions. Before diving into it, I would like you to take a moment to look at these two pictures of X and Y. Upon seeing X, you may now think that they care about the appearance as they are dressed up in really trendy clothing. They look fashionable. But on the opposite, if you see Y, they may seem casual and trendy, and you may think that they don't care about the appearance. Now, I want you to think about someone who has a larger body type. Well, you may not think that they are fit or athletic, but in reality, they are super athletic and super healthy. Well, you have limited X and Y and the person with a large body type into a box of set assumptions and ideas. Is all related to the fact that indirectly or directly, you may have felt the tendency toward judging each person, which is going to lead me to my topic today, stereotyping. Stereotyping derived from the noun stereotype is a deeply rooted phenomenon that characterizes human behavior, defined by the Oxford Dictionary as a widely held but fixed and oversimplified image or idea of a particular person or thing. In other words, it is the judgment we tend to make about someone based on one characteristic they may have, without the need to spend significant time getting to know them or learn about them. It is a type of social classification. So, hold on. You're telling me, but without knowing about the person's personality, life achievements, life story, emotions, I may be judging them? Yes, you may. I don't believe that. I'm not that type of person. Well, you may, and I understand that it can be pretty horrible when it comes to negative stereotyping. Personally, I've experienced a couple of questions and comments as a Tunisian, such as, Tunisia is an African country, so why do you have white people in Tunisia? My reaction is, Tunisia is indeed an African country, but it can be really ethnically diverse. Also, I get comments like, you're Tunisian. You must like harissa very much. Yes, I do. It's super tasty, super delicious, goes with everything, anytime. But with lemons, please. Or I'll need gallons of milk to save my burning tongue. Well, the biggest question still persists. Why do we really stereotype others? What are its origins in nature? To answer such a question, we need to dive into the science, culture, and history of stereotyping. Let's start with the scientific part. Let's start with the cognitive process, which involves chemical reactions and signals. Neurons in your brain release chemicals that create signals in other neurons. It creates thoughts that you are aware of and ones you're not. And it enables you to understand more about your environment, learn more about it. Also, if we take a group of people from a specific environment and let them interact with others from a different one, they may form attitudes, ideas, and expectations, and mental images. Those mental images, or so-called schematas, are what actually controls our reactions and actions. However, they cannot always be accurate. Here comes the stereotypes. So, we actually take stereotypes and based on one trait that we may see about a specific group, we may reflect it in a whole social group. And let it influence the way we think, the way we behave, and the way we treat the other group. Also, let's dig into the implicit bias, which is the collection of associations and reactions that may occur while connecting with someone or a group of people. So the association of negative or positive stereotypes may determine the way we behave with a certain group or person, rather than staying and being neutral. Research has found that that stereotypes can operate on an implicit level, means without our conscious awareness. It may even lead to a phenomenon called stereotype threat, which makes people believe in negative stereotypes about themselves. As an example, I'm going to use the study of Pager, Bonikovsky, and Western that focuses on the discrimination in low-wage labor markets in the USA. So they found that when black and white job seekers apply for the same job, black white job seekers are as likely to get called for the interview as the white job seekers who have the same qualifications. It is a result of stereotypes, of discrimination that may occur due to biases. Also, let's dig into the culture and the socialization effect on stereotypes. So, socialization have lots of processes that may influence our view to stereotypes, such as family dynamics, the way we interact with our peers, social norms and cultural norms, and it may lead, for instance, people from X country believing that they are better than people from Y country, or people from Y country believing that they are more beautiful than people from Z country. People from Z country believing that they are the most supremacist, the most better people than all the people in the world. So, stereotypes has lots of culture behind it, but it also has lots of history. So, many believe that stereotypes actually is a result of lack of interactions and the fear from the unknown. How is that so? So, stereotypes are old as human society. They are dated back to the early civilizations, when neighboring tribes formed stereotypes and those set notions about each other due to the lack of socializing between them and interactions. Also, during the era of colonialism and imperialism, stereotypes were also very common, as colonizers made negative stereotypes about the colonized people, picturing them in bad traits in very broad ways, to legitimize their dominance. Some people used speeches, others used poems such as The White Man's Burden by Rudyard Kipling. It suggests that the European empires or imperialisms needed and had the obligation to colonize people from non-Western countries, picturing them as undeveloped, savage, or less likely to guide themselves. So let's now focus on the media and popular culture impact on stereotypes. So when you watch a movie or TV series and you see this character that represents a social group, plays a role that is funny, violent, savage, you may somehow, indirectly, think that the people of those social groups are the same. So, for example, for Latinx people in the US, most of the time they are presented as criminals, immigrants, illegal immigrants. And, they can cause threats. A study or a data analysis by Johnson and Rendon shows that when they reviewed studies about US media representations of Mexicans, in 2015 that most of the time journalists tend to picture Mexicans as threat makers, as illegal immigrants, and most of it as bad people. Well, we can agree that stereotypes are really bad and they can limit our access to richness of humanity and how we see differences in the world. So how do they really work on us? So stereotypes can actually cause us to discriminate others, misjudge them. For example, if you see someone from a specific social group who is, for example, violent, you may now think that the whole social group is violent, and you start discriminating them and treat them in an unfair way. Also, you may develop biased interpretations. For example, in Western countries, many people see women who wear scarves as oppressed people with no freedom, but in reality they ignore the part where it's a cultural thing, spiritual, and it's personal thing that women are tending and willing to do. Well, in sum up, stereotypes are not something we should really let it guide our guidance. I'm going to repeat that. Stereotypes is not something we should let guide ourselves. It should not determine whether we should accept the other person or not. So let's focus on fostering great empathy and appreciate the human richness and the experience of amazing solidarity in the world. Thank you.